Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's Alisha Braché here from Cosmic Gateway. I am joined by my soul family. So, in conjunction with World Unity Week, this is the roundtable. This is the grand finale. This is a summary of the week that has been, or the last 4 days that have been World Unity Week. So, I'm joined here with my co-host Anna. We have Nick in the house from Om and Alpha, who's also been a part of, well, everyone has been a part of World Unity Week, but Nick has been running the um, Temple of the Rising Masculine. Thank you. We're getting to the last legs here. We have the beautiful Joe and Abby from the UK. So Joe from Awakening to the Light Within. We've got Donovan and we have Nat as well. So welcome, guys. Thank you, everyone, for being here. This is what a privilege, what an honor, and we made it. We made it from beginning to end. So this whole project of World Unity Week, credits to Ben from Unity Earth, who we met on a retreat. Nat, Nick, Anna, myself. Only 6 weeks ago, and found out about World Unity Week, and and here we are, and we've just wrapped up an astronomical amount of interviews, presentations, connections. Just there's not words to describe what this has been and what it has been in the background, the making. So it's a bit bittersweet right now to be doing the final recording and the final live stream, but it's just exciting to be here. So thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Where to begin? I don't know. I'm kind of all talked out. I'm lost for words. I think I'll throw it out to you guys. And what has your experience, reflection been of World Unity Week in terms of your involvement, participation, watching? What comes to you when you're reflecting over the past few days?
I'm in awe. I'm in awe of all of you that have been running this for days and days and days, that have managed to keep your sanity, that have brought such great content to people, the quality of interviews and wisdom and teachings and guidance and everything that's come across. Honestly, I'm in awe. Well done.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. It's as I keep saying, I haven't had a second to take in the enormity and the entirety of it all. It's just been in like the focus of getting through a very, very hectic schedule, which, you know what, I haven't done hectic schedule like that for years, like since I left corporate world. So it's been a bit of a dose of the world that I used to be in, then fused with my cosmic world. And it was an interesting reflection piece that I had today. So I was like, I used to have a hectic, crazy life, like, back-to-back meetings, this, that, the other. And I run my schedule now. So I wouldn't do that to myself unless I, absolutely had. Yeah, except for this week.
And it's felt like a wedding, for those of you that have been married. It's like really hectic. You don't even really know who's what where. And you kind of need to take a step back and just realize that, oh, I am in a wedding and I should appreciate the people my wedding. But I think we'll need probably the month of July off work just to watch the content from Om and Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's still interviews from Cosmic Gateway that I haven't even been able to see yet. And
who's got time for that?
It's
yeah,
it's funny though, like you talk about the effort, and there's something around this World Unity Week movement that spurs you on. And I know in the masculine room, there's like this energy and vibe coming out of it. And it's it's almost like a beginning, like there's something bigger than just us in that room. So every night I'll get my few hours sleep, try and get a little bit of sleep in the day if I can. I'll get to the night and I'm thinking, how am I going to get through this? And then within half an hour of you're about to start, you'll just go, oh, here I am. And you'll go for it. And the conversations will start, and and the energy will shift. I mean, as far as the masculine goes, there's been some absolute revelations in that group. There's been like there's been people come on who are 30 years in their field, you know, like very tuned in, very connected people, and all of a sudden we're having conversations, people are coming into the room, it ends up like a men's group. And this person that's got all this experience is suddenly having his own revelations and his own in front of us, you know, and to think you helped facilitate that is like, you know, who am I? But it's happening, it's right there.
You're right, Nick. There's something really mind-blowing about the energy behind it. And I will talk a little bit about my intention and overall perspective, and how I have felt into the energy and the momentum behind it. Because even before I knew what I was like getting into, you know, in the initial conversations, it was an instant yes. I want to do that. I have no idea what it means. I have no idea what's involved, but I could feel that massive yes, because I felt that the potency and the power of the impact and the potential of unity, but bringing people together. And I think, if I'm really honest about it, I think I've envisioned, you know, aspects of this for many, many years. And I even down to like earlier this year, I had this inspiration that I wanted to put together a what I thought was going to be a program, like a 6-week program, where I wanted to call it something to do with like introduction to healing. And I wanted to bring in all the people that I work with to run a course to get newbies involved in the introduction to healing and modalities, and what they can gain out of working with people who I'm so privileged to have as my everyday experience. Besties, soul fam that I work with, and who support me with their modalities and things like that. And so that was an idea that I had. I started writing the program, and then it kind of got sidetracked, and it only sort of dawned on me in the process of pulling all this together that this was an aspect of what was brought together in the content of World Unity Week, was that I got to actually bring everyone in their individual expertise to showcase what they do, and to give everyone a little like taster, like when we used to work together and they used to have the tasters. So that everyone could have like something that was experiential. And I think that's what's really important for me, is that, you know, knowledge and information is powerful, right? But the real change comes with when you start to put that into practice, and you start to experience for yourself what is possible through working with energy, or working with the quantum field, or working with numbers, or, you know, whatever it may be, and to give people a taste of that. And so it was like, for me, it was a fusion of information, insight, knowledge, wisdom, practical things that people can take away with, and really just give it a plethora of experiences, as well as conversation and heart activations and everything else that came with it. And I actually set an intention. A couple of things that have come to mind for me, which I didn't even realize was there, but I kind of tapped into it throughout the week and leading into it, was that everyone who participated, you know, I set the intention that everyone would receive at least one, if not many, beautiful blessings, you know, step up in their soul mission, whatever it is that their soul is aligned with for the next level for them, whether it's opportunities, connections, hopefully one of everything, you know, to come together, because there's a real energy that was brought together, and I felt it, you know, I think it's palpable. But then for the viewers and everyone who got involved in that way, in watching and commenting and sharing and being a part of it, because it's not just us on this side of the screen, it's everyone, that they would also receive it. There would be this ripple effect, that they would also receive that. And I actually did a formal intention before we commenced World Unity Week, and that was sort of my overall intention of the ripple effect of being able to harness that beautiful unity energy and everything that goes with that throughout the collective through this process. So I think it's probably one of the most powerful things that I've done in that regard, because it brought together so many fractions, you know, facets together. And what happens when you bring people together who are in cohesion, you know, there's an amplification that happens. So I knew that whatever would come through it, bringing all that together would ripple out in a potent way. So that's my little piece of my overview for World Unity Week.
Well, I know for me, I've had some feedback from friends and I've been sharing them to Alisha as they come in. And like you said, you know, having access to that information and wisdom and, you know, what does big UH mean? I've heard that said so many times. Like, what do you mean? What does it mean? So, you know, all this information and expertise that you guys do, the healing and stuff, like the people that have listened to it's like, wow, we didn't know. And can I just take this moment before I forget towards the end, because we're pretty tired now. But big thank you to Alisha, because wow, it was the weeks leading up to it, the blood, sweat and tears, and there was actually blood involved. It's amazing. You just kept pulling yourself together and you know, always with integrity as well. That was amazing to watch. Always with integrity and, you know, trying to give back to the people what they would need. And I've experienced sitting through, and you can relate to this, Nick, being able to sit through some of the interviews. I mean, I sat through the Judith Costello the other night, and it was because I loved her last year. I was reading her books, but the energy exchange, my third eye chakra, my crown chakra were just going nuts, and I was like cross-eyed afterwards. I couldn't see properly. Alicia's done like 4 or 5 recordings a day. It's like, how are you coping with all these energies? Insane.
Just keep going. Just keep going. I mean, I'm so grateful for the pre-records. Like initially I didn't want to do I wanted to do everything live, and in hindsight I was like, oh my god, thank god for pre-records. That would have been an impossible task.
Oh, that would have been funny to watch.
I would have been on the floor. I would have been a mess. Someone would have had to pick me up. Not to say that I haven't had those moments, and thank you, Donovan, for picking me up off the floor. Thank you, Anna, for bringing me food. Thank you, everyone, for sending your love and support, knowing that I, you know, had to push through and struggle, and I felt that. So, yeah, it's been a journey in itself. I mean, today I was up at 5:55 a.m. I did my first live at 7 a.m. and it's now 10:30, and it's been a jam-packed day, plus you know, personal stuff going on in my life. So yeah, it's yeah.
I just want to say, being on the other side of the world as well, obviously we're in a different time zone to you guys, and for anybody that doesn't have any understanding or comprehension of how many hours a day Alisha and Nick have been putting in, these guys are hitting up as being active online, like in the middle of our day, in the middle of our night. We're having our sleep time and knowing that you're running your day while we're asleep, and then we're having our daytime going, but they're awake again. Should we check on that? Okay. It's you know, the pure amount of hours that you guys just have been running. I think you're probably going to sleep for, I don't know. I mean, does someone need to come in and check in and just run you some IVs or something like that for when you crash?
I don't know about you, Nick, but I'm planning to pretty much sleep for the next 2 days.
Yeah, look, I've said 2 weeks because like this has always felt like a stepping stone. This does not feel anywhere near a final destination, quite the opposite. Almost like a launch pad. So I've got bigger plans and all this stuff going on, but I'm conscious that, you know, at some stage I need a little bit of time I want to see sunlight again. I want to feel the wind on my face, you know, those simple things. But yeah, it's nuts. But I had guys like, they'd come on and he'd literally get out of bed and he's got all this hair and it'd be like everywhere. And then you'd see it later in the day, he'd just rock up. You just finishing up on something and he'd say good day and he's all nice and fixed up, and you'd sort of see, you're watching the flow of their life as well, because they're popping in during the day. It's really cool like that.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure what time zone I'm in at the moment actually, and I'm serious. Like I'm working, I feel like I'm in Eastern Daylight Time, like I'm working in
Right, yeah.
US, yeah.
Because I mean, those who don't know and unaware, obviously in Nick's participation in the work that he's done, bravely, he's been, Nick's in Sydney, Australia, but he's been running his schedule to New York time, American time. So you have been going from late at night all the way through to early morning. And I mean, you're a dad with 2 kids and you have,
I have kids I forgot about. Uh-oh. Oh no, this is not good.
I mean, that just adds an extra layer that, yeah. So
Yep.
I'm actually looking forward to the next couple of days where I can like unwind and actually catch up on your content because I haven't
Yep.
had a chance.
You know what I think is going to be the interesting thing over the next couple of days, and I think this could be the case for everyone, because I think we've all had certain full circle moments through this. Like I'm sure for Nat being on here and on Cosmic Gateway, like that's a full circle moment for sure. Like, wow, I'm here.
Yeah.
I've had a big things with, like, particularly I've got Dutch ancestry, and I had this whole community of Dutch people turn up that have, and I'm talking like people who are highly, highly respected, show up with nothing but willingness to help me out of nowhere. And I mean, that's just one of the many full circle moments. So I feel like over the next couple of days, couple of weeks, there's going to be things that start to integrate because I'll have the time to stop and breathe and maybe watch some of it back. And I mean, even the fact that I've made these connections and they're not fleeting connections. They're pretty permanent. Like, these guys are messaging me now. I mean, that Miguel Dean that Joe saw me talking to the other night, we got along like a house on fire, and we're now in communication. And I mean, I never thought I'd get to speak to people like that. Like, it's just phenomenal. Like, blows my mind still. But that will all get integrated. So I'd love to know, hear from some
I
of the
thought it was really cool because I put the promo video together for Alisha, and so I'm typing out all these names and their little bios, and then like Judith Kersell, I hadn't heard of her before. Actually, I did watch her once with Todd Medina, but yeah, and then I was watching them and just taking so much from every segment that you guys did. And it was beautiful to see it actually, like a full circle of like, oh yeah, right, I knew these guys. I was, doing their profile the other week. It was really awesome how it all unfolded. And I took so much from what I've watched so far. And even to be on here now, like 8 months ago, I was watching you guys, and now I'm a part of this week, and I just feel so honored and so blessed. So thank you so much to each and every single one of you, because I just feel like this is like Nick said, the launching pad, and I have no idea where I'm going or what I'm going to be doing, but I feel it's just been a really beautiful journey so far.
Did anyone else get those chills?
Oh yeah.
Because we've all,
Oh yeah.
I looked at you and I went,
yeah.
Oh my God, guys. Firstly, Alisha and Nick and Anna, you guys have absolutely blown me away, just with your commitment, your time, your hours, and all that stuff, the logistical stuff to actually create it and keep it moving. And my experience, and I really want to talk about this, and you touched on it yourself, Nick, in the Temple of the Rising Masculine experience. And I had spoke to Alisha last night. She really did something very special that is very, very rare, that I've never really experienced before. And I was trying to explain it to her. It's kind of hard, but she brought together people with all these years of knowledge and experience and a massive following and all that, right? On one level, that's one circle. And this other circle of very close, Nick, you always say, oh, like, who am I? Like, that's how I feel. I'm like, who am I? I'm just little me doing my thing, numbers and stuff, like whatever. And just bringing my own experience of, whatever. But bringing the humility of the sort of inner circle that where we're just doing our thing, and we're not really well known or anything, and melding that together it did something really, really special. And I think the energy that grew, it was like this ball of infinite divine love that just kept getting bigger and bigger as the week went on. And I feel changed forever, honestly. Just I'm vibrating differently because of this week. I really am, on so many levels, knowledge levels, on energetic levels, on concepts, on energy, just everything. And what I couldn't get over, this was just mind-blowing for me, is every interview I listened to, there'd be something in that interview that was a total link up to another video that was either pre-recorded 2 days ago or last week, right? So it just took everything into cosmic time, out of linear time. Something that was recorded 2 weeks ago, and this is now live, that's now speaking about something that was pre-recorded but hadn't been put on the program yet, that then was premiered and played. And then all this stuff in the background was happening. The level of synchronicity surrounding this week was, one day I'll be able to explain it, but it was absolutely mind-blowing. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the picture of like the interconnected universe. It's like this week, with all the work that and all the people that were involved, just created like the dots and the strings, like this. So it was like a universe within itself. And it just kept growing and growing and growing, and it was growing in me as I was witnessing it. And I feel changed. Like I'm walking down the street, got out of the bus tonight in my break, and I'm starting to breathe and think about the connection between my heart and my soul and how I'm affecting things on the other side of the universe. And I'm like, after listening to Judith and Dale Holmes speaking about the concept of things going on, you know, interconnectedly throughout eons of time, and it really just sunk into a level that I know I'm vibrating differently. And if that was my experience, I can guarantee thousands of people probably had a very similar experience, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm still buzzing. Like, I'm so grateful to all of you and everyone that was coming and commenting, like, and just involved. It was just, oh my God, so amazing.
Funny you saying that, Donovan, because I literally got back to Alisha tonight. More food. Here you go. Eat for the next food.
Yeah. Yes.
I would not have eaten all week if it wasn't that. I'm bad when it comes to
What do
food.
you mean you haven't eaten? But I was saying to Alisha, this week especially, I feel like certain situations and people aren't real anymore. Like, it's not real. Vaccination, COVID's not real. Not real to me anymore. People I know, you're not real. I think I need to go back out in public, maybe.
Don't do it. I mean, when you're saying about vibrating differently, the energy in our house, and we've had a lot of this running a lot of the time. This one has been so impacted by the energy that's been kicking in. She's been like swaying about the place, not being able to like close her eyes because the room's all going, and it has been crazy, Donovan, and I totally agree with you. But I also, when you were saying about bringing these huge names, and I can remember having conversations before this started, Alisha, and you running these huge names off. I've got goosebumps now, and I'm sure my reaction was the same as all of you guys of when you want me. Don't be silly.
Yeah.
So it's but it's so true. There's certain videos that I like, bits that I've watched where I'm like, little us are actually these concepts and these views and these things are all being shared across so much of the content, and that has been such a soul enriching experience to be able to recognize and identify with so many other people. But damn, the energy, like I came off of our live, Alisha, and I genuinely was in one of those phases where like I can't talk to anybody, because if I talk to them, I feel like I can see everything and I'm getting all this information and I can't trust myself to not say anything. I need to just hermit in a corner with my own energy going, woo-hoo.
I love that.
That is so relatable.
It really, it really does something to you, you know, when you have those high vibe conversations and you do a recording or you do a live or you push through a threshold. And I've seen this with some of the people, I think for all of us, we've had to push through thresholds, right? Um, Within your own evolution and your own soul path. And, you know, stepping out and doing a live video is not an easy thing to do, especially when it's your first or second, or, you know, and what has really warmed my heart is seeing everyone step up into their light, into their role and shine their light. Because I want nothing more than everyone to show the magnificence of how I see everyone and that to be shared with the world. And there's a real process that happens with your own energy experience when you move through that threshold and step into that, it changes everything. And you are forever changed, and then the doors start to open. um it's there's so much I could say about this week, but one thing I will share is that I said to, so initially when we knew that we were going to bring this together, Anna and I sat down with a pen and paper and we're like, who do we want to bring together? And we just started writing a list of, you know, everyone that we wanted to like hang out with and talk to and have fun with. And from my own personal thing was like, anyone who's made an impact in my life, I want them to be a part of this, because I want to share through Cosmic Gateway, through World Unity Week, every person who's been pivotal on my journey, whether they are the people who I consider my inner circle, my soul fam, who I'm in contact with daily, who support me and hold my hand and pick me up off the floor and give me food and, you know, keep me going on, right? Or the people who I've admired, who have been influential, who I haven't, you know, been in contact with before. And I'm just gonna like send them an email and say, hey, do you want to be a part of this thing? And the response back was overwhelming. You know, it really was overwhelming. And I thought there's something really special coming together. And as it's kind of unfolded, I looked at Anna today and, you know, thank you so much to all the people who've sent me the most amazing messages and how your experience has been. And I said, you know, I'm not in a place yet that I can kind of take in the enormity of it all. I will, and I look forward to that. But for now, I'm just like, oh, okay, oh, that's nice, oh, that's nice. Oh, okay, cool, wonderful. And I'm like, but you know what? To me, it has felt like is I'm just live streaming my life. It has been such a transparent, honest, raw. These are the conversations that I have day in, day out. You know, to me, there's nothing great or amazing about it. It's like, I'm very lucky that, you know, I get to have conversations about these high level concepts all day, every day, because it's a part of my work. But it's a part of the life that I've built. And that is something that I've wanted to share with everyone else, to give them an insight into that, so that that can ripple and people can kind of be in that vibration. So I don't know where I'm going with that, but I just wanted to share that, you know, this has also felt, even though I'm in awe of everyone who's, you know, played a role in World Unity Week, there's two levels to me. There's like, I'm in awe because every segment has blown my mind and I've learned stuff, and it's been high energy, and I feel like I have merged energies with everyone who's come on, and I've been woozy abs. I've been like getting up going, whoa, I need to like go ground myself right now. But on the other level, it's been like, well, this has just kind of been like how my life is, and it's just kind of been, instead of me having these private conversations on the, you know, on the phone or on video, it's through a live stream. So there's those two kind of elements to it, which has kind of been cool. It's been cool. So
Yeah, sorry, that I said to you last night, Alisha, that you've caused something in me where you talk about the threshold, and you know the process I went through when you put me on the list, and I was like, oh my God, like what? I was like, seriously? And but you saw that potential in me, and then I had a meltdown before we recorded, and you said to me, just do you, like you always have, just do you. And I'm like, of course. Like, what am I doing? Like, what, right? So once I crossed that threshold, now watching you this week, Alisha, run this room was like, for me, it was like, now that's what it looks like to be fully on your mission and on your path. Like, it really like integrated in me. I'm like that, and what it's caused within me is like, now I've just got like a whole lot of doubts that I had just dissipated, gone away, and now it's just mission. It's just like, right, I know what I'm here to do. I've just got to move, and I've got to get moving. And you've been saying this to me for years, Alisha, but but to see you fully integrated, like you said, there's this like getting blown away in admiration by what's happening. At the same time, you know, you're just on your mission and you're in the flow of your mission. And for us to witness that, it's not just we're admiring seeing that in you, but it happens, it gets reflected, and then it starts integrating in you. And that's what happened to me. And it was just like, oh my God, wow. Like, wow.
If only Donovan knew what we think of him. You know what I mean? Like, he knew, like, the story he tells himself is like the opposite to what everyone says.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, wow, you're amazing.
Yeah, Alisha and I actually were discussing
Thank you, brother.
for about 10 minutes about Donovan
Yeah,
earlier.
we're having a private conversation about you, Donovan.
It's nice to hear you say that she's been saying this to you for years as well, Donovan, because, you know, that's such a fact, and it's so good to hear you going, no, I feel it. That's just gold. Absolute gold.
Oh, you guys are making me emotional. I've cried. I've lost count. I've cried so many times during this week, just aha moments, and then just like the shift of energy in me. I've been reduced to tears listening to Judith the other night. I was bawling. I was weeping. and then watching you go through that process today, Alisha, with Kerry Gornia.
Yeah. Oh, you watched that, did you?
I saw the last of it before I got home, and I was crying again. And then when you were talking about Ari, and that came up, and I just broke down, and just so many times. And there was one time I'm sitting there, I'm looking at you, Anna, and I could see how, I just want to honor how just your energy sitting there was just like this cauldron of, I could feel that you were helping hold the energy in order to keep Alisha moving with this just love sponge, and you were just sponging in all the energy, and also getting to witness your aha moments. You could just see in your energy, like, you'd be like, oh my God, like, and I love that. I love seeing that support that you provided, and how that also was, you know, as important as anything to keep things moving and going. But yeah, I'm just so lost for words. Well, I'm never lost for words, but it's just been transformational. It really has. And Nick, I cannot wait, brother, to catch up, because I kind of got into the universe in this room, and I was in that universe. And I could feel what you were doing on the other side, Nick, and I was like, oh, I want to be there as well. And I'm like, oh, I can only do what I can do. But the first act of the launch of your room, Nick, I was almost like, well, that was just like, it's done. It was like, you've done it. To me, it was just filled with love and respect and honor, and men coming together and expressing themselves openly and transparently. It was so beautiful.
That moment there was like a very poignant moment for me. It was like this, I think of it like a what would you call it, like a pinpoint, you know, like, okay, I'm here now, and then here we go. Because I had like an emotional 24 hours before that. I had tears talking to Alisha in the morning before that. And I had this moment the night before. I spoke to Anna and Petra from the Mary Magdalene School, because they wanted to nut out a few of the details. And it hit me, because I'd been looking at it on a collective scale, what we were doing for the masculine, but I hadn't looked at the personal side of it. And I suddenly realized, I had this moment, I took the dog for a walk just to level out. And I had this overwhelming feeling of all these beings coming in from everywhere for that moment, for me. You know what I mean? And it was unbelievable. And like I said, that's where the Dutch connection come in. For the first time, I felt ancestors arriving. It was like they were coming to back up that situation. I think it transferred through that opening ceremony quite beautifully. It was magic. And then it's funny because Nat and I were talking at the retreat, and I've had Mary Magdalene coming through, like just like the name, different places mentioning it out of nowhere. I'd virtually never heard of it, never heard of the concept for a couple of months. It's just coming. And we were talking about it, and I mentioned to her that, oh, Farad, I've seen that. There's something in that. And then, like I say, it kept going. And the next minute, a few weeks back, 2 women from the Mary Magdalene school who happen to be Dutch and have a very almost motherly vibe come in and just take over. And they're like, and it's like, you can feel when they suggest, they go, look, we're feeling into opening the masculine room. And I'm like, yes, that's it. I could feel it straight away. And then next minute they're going, oh, we've got this guy for you to talk to. We've got this guy for you to talk to. And I'm talking to these Dutch guys who are like one guy, 15 years he's been on the Israeli-Palestinian border doing trauma healing on each side.
Oh my God.
Like, and
Wow.
I'm like talking to him, and then at the end of our conversation, he thanks me profusely for what ended up basically being a men's circle in that session last night. He thanks me. Okay.
I saw a bit of that session last night,
Yeah.
and apparently, we've spoken a lot over the years about how it's always been perceived that the feminines are pushing forward and we're the masculines and every evening I catch some of your masculine stuff, because obviously I'm awake and you're kicking in, and it's just been so stunning, the level of openness and almost vulnerability that's been shared, and just the expression that's been coming from the men in that space. And it gives me goosebumps now as I'm saying it. That has been, for me, every single evening, my happy space, if you like, to just kind of see that expression. And obviously also for you, Nick, for you to be doing that and having that opportunity. I've just every single evening at some point I'll kind of go in and say, right, okay, what's he up to? But I was watching that last night around the trauma, and I was standing in my kitchen going, damn.
Yeah.
Like,
we went into that session, and I've because of the people I've been talking to, I've tried to do a little bit of research and just have a little bit of a pathway. And when it came to Ton, that's the name of the guy, he didn't leave me with much. I didn't really know how it was going to go. And I got to this point about an hour before, I went, you know what? He knows. Like, I'm just going to let it go and release anyway. Because sometimes no one shows up to the Zoom rooms, so you can't even have dialogue. Anyway, no one turned up to the Zoom room before it. He turns up, and out of nowhere, people start joining in. And it went from, okay, Tom, what are we going to do here, to literally that. Like, what transpired in that? Like, it just organically happened. But we also had, I had this idea when we first got involved with World Unity Week, to bring together the men of World Unity Week. So there's this bunch of men they're all older guys. They could go off and start businesses and make millions of dollars. They're like, they got it figured out on that side of things. But instead, they're donating their time and their resources to this movement. So I wanted to bring all them into one space. Anyway, we finally got to do it on the first night. So we had Ben, the guy who started it, John Raymer. We had Native American chiefs in there, all this stuff. And we basically had the idea, we just put out a question and we knew it would evolve. And next minute, these guys who are like my dad's age, and we know how closed up they are, deepest, darkest, like coming out just bleh, in a men's group. Like, we could have never expected that to happen. And then now I'm getting messages from these men saying, we need you to facilitate this ongoing. I like every morning I wake up to another email from one of the 20 odd guys that were tagged in that email saying, man, we need more of this. We need to do this. And I mean, that's where they're like, those circles are starting to feel like the elders, which as masculine, we don't utilize. And that's another revelation, that we need to be utilizing what wisdom we have. I mean, Miguel the other night, his wisdom, if I had that when I was in my 20s and 30s, we don't have any guidance. We don't have any wisdom. I mean, even grandmother wisdom. I was talking to a woman named Pat McCabe, who was going to do some work with us. She's another Native American elder. And she's had this idea for a while to do, because what Indigenous cultures used to do is the grandmothers would guide the young men. And as soon as she told me about that, I got it. I could feel it. And unfortunately, she couldn't make that happen. We were going to do a grandmother's circle in there. But that's what else we're missing. We throw these old people in homes without, and there's people there with stuff to share, and we're not utilizing it. I think that was one of the good things to come out of it, that moving forward, I'll be trying, as well as putting in, like I've already got the Conscious Man project that we did our first Zoom call, and that was just magic. But facilitating regular Zooms with elders that get recorded, and that can actually go out to young men. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love that, Nick, because, you hear about all the feminines, the work that they're doing and stuff like that. But we've noticed in the last year how many masculines are coming out and gathering together and sharing the stories and supporting each other. And I think having that platform, and now even just I'm an alpha, I'm going to have to, there's so much content on yours that I haven't even seen yet. And I can't wait. I saw Miguel. Is Miguel the one with a book?
Yeah, and the long hair, fabulous hair.
Miguel had he's written a book called Bring Him Home, which is what came in my meditation last week about someone.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I love this, this time last year compared to now, there's so many masculines, beautiful, amazing masculines just coming together and showing up. And thank you.
I was really surprised the other night after the Mary Magdalene transmission meditation that we did, and what happened afterwards. I was just in awe. I was sitting there listening to these men open up and speak, and I was like, wow, this is a breath of fresh air. It was so beautiful to hear and to see. It was awesome. So well done, Nick. That's amazing.
It's like you create the platform and then just let that thing go.
Yeah.
Push it down the hill and look the other way.
And it feels so guided. I love hearing you guys talk about the synchronicities of how things naturally, organically unfold. Nick, I mean, I'll try. It's hard not to talk about my own experience because it's just so interconnected. It's just off the scale. But it felt like what's happened with you, Nick, is you've been guided and tapped into the precipice that the men are like literally the frequency of the collective masculine is like, oh, we're ready. We're so ready for this, and it's like you can feel it, and you've been positioned perfectly by your soul, by your mission to be at the right place at the right time. But just quickly to explain this, I just can't get over the synchronistic stuff, and it keeps unfolding. Like what you're saying, Nick, in the lead up to World Unity Week, I was getting MM on number plates constantly, MM, and I'm like, oh, that's like Mary Magdalene. That's like Mary Magdalene. That's like Mary Magdalene. I had no idea until I turned up to your Zoom room that was going to happen. And by the way, that meditation, after I came out of it, I was out. I was completely, I was gone. I went galactic. I could not, I couldn't
Donovan,
speak or anything.
I have a confession.
Yeah.
So I'd swiped across, sorry to cut you off, I'd swiped across to see who was still in the chat, and I seen you, and you were just blissed out sitting there. I screenshot it because I was going to send it to Alisha and Anna because I was laughing. I'm like, Donovan's not here.
Totally. I think I did actually spontaneously combust there for a bit, and then managed to come back, because I remember after that, Nick sort of sat there and I could feel your energy, Nick. You were kind of like, oh shit, what's now? Like, what do we do now? It's like,
Yeah.
I could feel it, and I was just holding that space because I was like, I could feel that you felt like a little bit like, whoa, that just opened everything up, and now I'm like, where are we? Like, what? Yeah, I felt that, but then the synchronicity, you know, again, you're talking about the Dutch connection. I'm half Dutch, so that was like, it was touching me so much. And then I have an uncle called Ton. His name's Ton, and then something else happened. I got into day 2, and I'm like, oh, what else is going on in the World Unity Week Facebook page? I'm going to go over there and see what else this is all about, because I've never been in World Unity Week. So I went in there, and the first thing that came up was the Brahma Kumara's World Spiritual University, Raja Yoga, doing a guided meditation. And that's where I studied when I was like 14.
Wow.
Wow.
And I was like, I didn't know they'd be a part of it. I was just like, this was constantly happening. Yeah. It was insane. And then stuff behind the scenes, like stuff I'd be talking to Alisha about on a chat, or someone had mentioned in the roundtable, and then it would relate to a conversation I had with my wife, Debbie, this morning. And then Judith describe the exact conversation I had with Debbie the morning before that session. And then it was just I
got connected with one of the Dutch guys. I got connected with has the exact same surname as me.
Right.
Identical. Anyway, we like connected straight away. And so he came on, he said, look, I don't feel my English is very good. He said, I want to do talks and presentations in English. He's like an author, and he works with light workers and helping them start businesses and things like that. And he said, look, I want to do presentations in English. And he said, when I spoke with you, he said, I felt like I could do it. So we sat and had a conversation about the heart for an hour. And it was really nice, because there was this beautiful thing that happens when you're not good with the language. You focus on the words more, and you take your time, and you're really like, and I explained to him, I said, man, that was magic. I said, like, because you were like totally present, and you were careful and articulating everything really nicely. But for him, that was a big moment, because he's like having his, I can do stuff in English, you know. I'm like, man, you can communicate pretty well. Like, just do it. Yeah, like synchronicities everywhere.
Synchronicities, but the art, like the I can do this now is what is speaking to me, is that I've seen so much, and even on my own personal level, there's been so much I can do this now, you know. And when you've got a collective of people pushing through those thresholds, like I was talking about earlier, and going, oh, I can actually do this now. What else am I capable of? What else can I do? What else can I achieve? What happens into the collective field at that point, when there's, you know, a critical mass of people coming into this awareness of, I just did something that I didn't think I was capable of. I've just learned something that is the greatness about myself. I just been opened up to a whole new world of possibility, because I plucked up the courage to do something that was kind of terrifying. And I did it, and this energy surge that runs through. What happens to the collective in that moment? Reality changes. Reality changes. And I want to come back to the cosmic galactic theme, because that was my theme for World Unity Week. One of the things that it was always in the back of my mind was this potential, I mean, not potential, this disclosure that's happening on the planet right now. We don't know to what lengths or depths, or we don't know what the Pentagon's going to release and not. Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh here. But ultimately, I feel like I've been working towards this for years, that like there is going to be massive truth bombs that hit. You know, we are, as a collective, I mean, we are going through some turbulent times. That there's going to be a lot more truth that come to light, that's going to give people cognitive dissonance and all sorts of weird and wonderful, wacky things. And my thing was, what can I do to counteract that? What can I do in my own personal power that can help the greater good in some capacity, especially when it comes to galactic stuff, especially when it comes to ET, UFOs, very much my world, has been for a long time. And I feel a service to humanity to help them through that process. And so many people have put this emphasis on July. We don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But it was like in the last week of June, if we could collate everyone coming together to share their personal stories, to share their personal experiences, their perspectives, the truth from an individual's narrative that is heart-centered, authentic, within resonance, and not fear porn, what could that do into the greater collective consciousness? And each and every one of you have participated towards that. And I don't have words for that, because that to me is the service to the greater good. Yes, we've all had our segments, we've all played our part, but we keep going back to the energy of the momentum of what's been happening. Bringing that together is just, yeah.
As you was just saying that, Alisha, do you know, because we've said, and I think all of us have said individually together at varying different points about this whole fear thing, and you've just said about the fear that's kind of around this potential disclosure. And I feel like energetically you've just created this really nice soothing balm.
Yeah, I like that.
Cosmic soothing balm.
Yes.
Yeah. You got some fear, put some cosmic soothing balm on, it'll be fine.
Yeah. I missed out on that business opportunity.
Isn't it interesting?
I'll bottle that.
It's interesting the timing.
What was that?
I'm just thinking the timing's interesting, right? Because I look at that disclosure stuff and I consciously know that, right, that's going to happen in a certain narrative. And people need to be here to decipher that information that's coming out. And it's happening now. This opportunity comes up because, obviously all of us look at you and go, there's our decipherer. You're bringing the people together to decipher that information. And this is going to become pivotal because whatever narrative gets produced, it's not in our best interest.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So you're going to become in demand.
So it was kind of like it was my counteract. Like, how can I counteract that mainstream narrative that's not in our best interest and steer it into something that is enlightening, inspiring, in a heart-centered space, not in fear, not being Fox News and saying if extraterrestrial life try to contact you, don't, because they're dangerous and it could be a threat to national security.
Don't say that.
Yeah, I know.
I did. That's just made me think of something. I don't know, obviously we're in the UK, you guys are in Australia. Have you had the government alert thing come up on your phones?
No, but
we had the test in the city.
We've had this thing come around about a government alert that it will be, and there's certain pictures, and it's basically fire flood, and then there's lights in the sky as one of them. I shit you not, this is a thing that has come out, and it's like a security thing, and it's so that if our security is at risk, we'll receive alerts on our phone. That's come out in the UK. What was that, maybe a week, 2 weeks ago?
Wow.
I think you have to share a screenshot of that.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I will find it. I will put it in the group chat, and then you can pop it on Cosmic Gateway, Alisha. But I kid you not, it is an actual thing. And that's why when you were just saying that, I'm thinking, has everybody had that, or is it just us at the moment? So
I demand life in the what is it called? Life in the sky alert.
Well, it's just any kind of perceived threat, security threats.
So the same as if
Wow.
like there was going to be a flood in your area and they'd say you probably need to evacuate and you'd get an alert. It's like that, but maybe if aliens are going to come and knock at your doorstep, you should probably evacuate because it's a security alert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope they do.
See, that's like you said,
Same.
Nick, that's the narrative playing out, because there's stuff coming. We know, we can all feel it, and it's reaching a precipice point because the old system's dying. It's in the last throes of its death, while the new system, the new earth it's here. Like, you know. And interestingly for me, so I've been walking in those two worlds for a few years now, where I'm watching the disclosure, not just like, I'm talking the death of the old paradigm disclosure, so like the deep state, the government, and all that stuff, right? And sharing that side, and then working this other, you know, like you were saying, Alisha, this more, you know, enlightened state of being side. And they do work in conjunction with each other. But what was interesting to me this week was, I didn't watch one X22 report this week. I didn't watch any of the truth of disclosure stuff, because I was so completely absorbed in this energy. It's like who said that earlier? It's like, I need to get outside and go walk in the real world, or the real world. What's the real word? Go walk in the world again and re-experience it, because I'm actually experiencing an ascended earth now from the vibrational, what's been created in this space, you know. And I think you're right, Nick, that as time goes on and other bits of disclosure come out, and people are going to need to get out of their cognitive dissonance, they're going to be looking for people like Alisha and all the people that have spoken about these experiences, like, yeah, we're cool with this. This is actually a great thing, and there's great things coming, you know, to ease that fear and take away the anxiety that the narrative is going to be feeding. Yeah, 100%.
And I think, sorry, at this point, that like people like myself, and I include everyone when I say that, because I think that we're all experiencers to some degree, whether we're out of the space closet or not, you know. And it wasn't easy for me to step forward and start talking about it, but I knew it was necessary part of my path. And you know, I always try and think from a bigger perspective and how to be in service to humanity. But from a personal level, when I first started coming into the conscious awareness of my contact experiences and everything else that was happening and playing a part of my journey, I went through 2 years of very confronting, you know, shadow, dark night of the soul, cognitive dissonance. There was a lot to sift through to be okay with it, to be able to talk about it, to understand it. You know, there's so many components that take place in a journey like that. And the beautiful thing is that the more of us that start to have these experiences, these awakenings to whatever degree, and it can come through so many different ways. It doesn't have to come through sort of cosmic galactic experiences. I just completely forgot what I was saying then.
Yeah.
Normalizing
really helps, but the acceleration. So what took me 2 years to sift through can take people a couple of months, you know, if they're really accelerated, because of the collective quickening that's happening, you know. And I think that that's really important. And I think that some of us have gone through it earlier to navigate it, to then make sense of it, to then, you know, to increase that quickening for the greater good. Yeah. So I think that's an important key point, is the empathy to have for the people who will start to go through this process, or who have already begun going through this process, that there is a lot of not nice components to it. There is a lot of like thinking you're stark raving mad, you know, there's all those, you know, aspects to it. But to feel like you're not alone, and that there is someone who can shine a light and go, oh yeah, you know, X, Y, and Z. Like for you, Nat,
Yeah.
when you had your first ascension dream.
Yeah. I felt, I woke up, I sat with it for about 2 hours, and I had just had a session with you, I think it was, but we hadn't interacted outside of that. And yeah, I had this ascension event dream, and my mind was blown. It was blown. And I was like, I really want to message Alisha. What is happening? I knew that you would know. And I stewed on it. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to do it. And I did it. And I typed out the email, and Jesse was sitting on my lap, and he accidentally hit send. And I'm like, okay, well, we're doing it. And then
Cool.
Alisha had responded, and she's like, that sounds like you've had an event dream, and put me onto Alice & Co. And it was just so comforting in that time, because I literally was bombarded with so much information in that dream. I didn't know. It took me a week to put the pieces together and make sense. There was crafts. There was a lot going on in there. And yeah, I had one again a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, okay, yeah, sweet. I'm good now. I know what's happening. And it was just like, it was like waking up and flicking on my kettle. Like, it was just like, I was accustomed to it. I'm like, yeah, this is good. So having that first point of contact when your mind is being blown has been a real catalyst for me, and having real talk about it and support, because I actually thought I was going crazy.
Don't we all? And what a perfect example now of like the acceleration,
Yeah.
Your first one and how long that process, and your second one, and you're like, all right, coffee time.
Yeah.
I think that's so beautiful. That's so perfect. I don't know where to go from here, because honestly, there's so much that I want to say, and there's so much that I can't say, and there's so much to say, but I think it's going to take a while to unpack that, and I think we're going to come back and do more round tables and do more. Oh no, I do want to say something.
Hold up, she's not done.
And I do apologize. I probably should have apologized in advance for the ramblingness, because I'm really today feels like a week all jammed into one, and I'm not really here. So I'm doing the best I can. But I do want to talk about the templating, because this has been prevalent this week. That World Unity Week is just the beginning of sparking of so many other magnificent projects and collaborations and things that will blossom and birth through this portal, World Unity Week. And obviously my work is within the energetic space, so I'm always focused on the energy impact and the ripple effect, and when you connect with energies and what happened. Well, what you were describing was like when you were on the Judith interview, and that energy is so powerful and so potent, and plus you're live streaming it too, so you connected, you're linked in energetically with all the people who are watching it, all the people on the replay. Like, there's a lot of energy that's going around, and when you're energy sensitive, you can feel like you're in a tornado like the entire time. And I was thinking about Ben, who the founder of Nick gets where I'm going with this. I was washing the dishes this afternoon, because I have to keep cleaning the house just to kind of keep going, because I'm gonna fall down and not get up if I don't do something like wash the dishes and make bed and whatever. Anyway, I was thinking about Ben, and I was like, I'm just doing a small portion, right? Cosmic Gateways Participation World Uni Week is here, and Nix is here, and then and there's like 35 or 36 of those, and Ben is the one that's put all those together. So there's like, I think there's like 500 different segments in entirety, and I was like, damn, like that's a lot of energy threads connected into one person who's like the overarching, who has the visionary for this. I was like, man,
Has anyone checked in on him?
I have spoken to him a couple of times. I don't know how he does it, but he's still together. He was just on plenary with us before.
Well,
yeah.
So I was going to invite him on here, and then I thought, oh no, he'll be too busy. He'll be too. And I've been thinking about it most of the time. I was like, I don't know where that man has come from, but I bow to him in his visionary and his greatness and what he's done, not just for World Uni Week 2021, but you know what he's done with Unity Earth and all the events that he has put together that were in person for 5 years leading up to then COVID hit, and then I had to go onto line, and that's the backstory. And I was a part of one of the events that they put together. I think it was called Field of Dreams up in Byron Way, 2018, and it was a 2-day event out in the middle of the bush, really, in the hinterlands, and they brought Indigenous elders from all over the world.
Wow.
They had performing arts, they had like music, they had ceremony, they had ritual. I left that event a changed person, you know. So I had an experience in 2018 because of what Ben had put together. And I was deeply moved. You know, I was like you, Donovan. I was just weeping. I was so emotional by everyone and their, you know, everyone's contribution. And there were so many aha moments and circle moments. And it was like this experience that I had that I couldn't even really, I was there by myself. I went alone. I met people there, but, you know, it was a solo journey that I knew I had to do solo. And even when I came back out into the world and experiencing reality, you know, once again in this new space, I couldn't even convey that to people who didn't witness that, you know. So now to think about that in creating that, but online where everyone can, it's just mind blowing. Yeah.
I keep thinking back to the retreat, and when we did that hike up that hill, and I didn't know who Ben was. I just was like, okay, yeah, he's lovely, you know, whatever. And then it wasn't until World Unity Week, like he's such a humble, beautiful guy, like with such, like I can feel his heart is just gorgeous. And we had like such a special moment up the top of that hill, and there was a beautiful eagle that flew over, and all the masculine were like, you know, screaming like ah in the bush, and it was awesome. And then now I'm looking at World Unity Week, and I'm like, what a privilege it was to even spend time and just having a casual conversation with Ben, because what he does, I had no idea how big this was. And it's mind-blowing, and I feel really, really privileged to have met him.
I just, if it's all right, I just want to go back to when Donovan was saying about this energy and this whole feeling like in this space that we've all been in, it's almost like we're already living in this, like in the ascended world, in the ascended earth. And we've talked about, you know, new earth and all of those kind of things for such a long time. And I know we've all got to go back to some kind of semblance of reality, right? You know, we can't all just sit in our little bubble. But how nice that now exists, that we can energize it and amplify it whenever we choose, so that collectively that can be spread out even further. That's where I keep sitting with it at the moment.
Yeah. And can I just say on a side note, Joe, your segment last night and that journeying, that group BQH, just a snippet of like connecting with your cosmic origins, that what you spoke about, Nick, when you had that moment of feeling like I experienced that in what Joe created, and then I had to come back and keep it together when I just had this like way out cosmic experience with all this information coming through, and then I was like, oh, live, we're live, okay. Thank you, Mama Joe, for working your magic.
Like I say, when you come back, because I was kind of, I'd opened my eyes from like, because I was just wherever, whatever, don't know, however, and looked at Alisha, and when it started to bring back, and I thought, well, she's gone quite deep. I kept looking at Alisha and thinking, oh, because we're doing it live. But Alicia's so, I mean, as you all know, when you work with her, she's so wonderful to work with, because she just boom, and she's in there. It's fab. But yeah.
I wasn't planning on journeying. I just closed my eyes, and then all of a sudden a portal opened, boom, wow, hello. So yeah, it's amazing, and to be able to broadcast that and for people to have those experiences, it's real gift. It's real honor to share that kind of experience, and it comes back to the experience, you know. I remember one of my mentors many years ago, it's probably a quote, and I'm not good with quotes and people, but she kept saying to me, Alisha, people will not, it's Maya, I think, anyway,
Maya Angelou.
yeah, and she would say to me when I was teaching, she's like, people probably won't remember what you say, they probably won't remember what that you do, you know, but they'll always remember how you made them feel.
You're pretty good with quotes.
Am I?
Yeah. And I'm gonna actually take this opportunity to tell you guys one of Alicia's quotes when we were on the way to the retreat, because I always kept making a mental note that I had to say that live one day. So we're in the car driving 2 days, tears, tantrums, emotions, and Alisha and I are breaking out in tears. No, with our skin. And anyway, Alisha dazed out driving 2 days straight, and she just goes, breakouts are breakthroughs. I was furious. It was like she had laser beam, and she goes, breakouts are breakthroughs.
That's awesome.
It was the worst. My skin had never been that bad ever, and I just had explosions.
Mine was really bad that week too. It must have been like an energetic prep or something, cleanse out of our pores. Like, you girls are going to get annihilated at this retreat.
Sure was. Talking about that going back to that threshold thing, you know, it's like you go through a purification, and you know, it's but what I did want to get back to is, I do believe that there is massive templating happening at the moment, and that you know, what's going to come beyond world, I know that my new level of reality has changed. Like, I go back to my life as of tomorrow, but it's definitely a new normal. Oh God, I can't believe
This is why you shouldn't be live. You can't edit that out.
Cha-ching.
I'm going back into my new Earth reality tomorrow.
Actually, you know what I love about that? I love about that in this space, you'll take a term that's being used out in the world that's part of the fear narrative, and we'll have the complete counterpoint meaning for the same phrase. I love it. I love that. I love that. That's so cool.
I've lost what I'm going to say. Templating. And I know I can see that infused in so many people's experiences, that there is this shift that's happening, and it's like the next level. And it's like whatever comes beyond this point, for us who've been a part of it, for us who have watched it, who've participated at any level, that energy is infused, and it is creating new templates of soul mission and purpose, and you know, just new depths of understanding self, and getting clarity, and connected. So, you know, that's what I'm excited about, because repeatedly over and over I have been getting the message of like, we don't know what July holds, but it's a bright light, and you can't even put that into the English language or any language, because it's just light. It's forming, but we can't comprehend it. And then, to me, that's a new reality that is opening up, and how that looks and how that will unfold in the physical world, I don't know yet, but I'm excited because I can feel it, and I can feel the momentum building. So yeah, just immense love and gratitude to you all. I'm going to drop the mic now. I'm done. I hand it over to you guys.
Can I quickly say, with the energy right now, for me personally, it's like everything and nothing existing at once. And it's like everything and nothing is all there, and you're like, literally like that, brain dead, going,
I'm so high vibe. I'm so high vibe. I can't think anything, but I'm so high vibe.
Oh God, you two did that so well.
Yeah, you did.
We've been practicing for 2 hours.
Oh.
And I must say, you know, Nat, like, massive thank you for putting together that promo video. Like, I absolutely busted your balls on that. And, you know, and you worked really, really hard. There was many hours put into it and there was a lot of detail, and I couldn't be happier. It spoke the essence of what I wanted to convey. And I know at the end of it, I don't know how you felt, but like, I can't listen to that song. Like, when I first heard it, it was like, oh my God, this music's amazing. And then afterwards, when I was like, I had to mute it, I was like, I can't listen to it.
Yeah. No, I want to actually take this opportunity to thank you, Alisha, because I'm like, I mean, me coming on live is so out of my comfort zone. And you know how you're talking before about just, you know, those breakthroughs. And now I've done it, and I feel like this is the 3rd or 4th day. And I'm like, I feel really comfortable now, as opposed to Tuesday, my first one, I was like, oh, like touching my hair every 2 seconds. But now I'm like, okay, this is like really chill. So I feel like that's just a bit of a breakthrough for me personally. But I want to say thank you for having me be a part of this this group, because each one of you that I'm looking at on this screen right now has played such a huge part in my awakening journey, support network. I've watched you all, and I've met most of you, or a few of you, and had sessions with, you know, you, Joe, and each one of you have just really been so supportive and a huge part of my my growth. So I thank you all, and thank you for having me on this week too, Alisha.
Oh, it's been absolute delight. And, you know, from the moment we connected, I was like, oh, there's something that you're so part of Soul Family, you know, you just know there's just that resonance. And I think the Soul Family is growing. I think, Donovan, you said it before we hit live. And that's exciting. And I mean, I saw the work that you did on making that video about Nick, like that. I was playing that on repeat for a long time. That was just, and I was like, that girl's got skill. I mean, we know that you've got skills beyond just making videos, but I was like, I I need to put her on the payroll. When I get some money coming in, she needs to make my videos. Like, that was awful.
She can also make wedding flowers.
Wow, I was excited.
We could all have a floral arrangement.
Yeah, actually,
Nice.
for World Unity Week next week, I'm going to supply you all with a beautiful bouquet to have like sitting next to your cameras.
Yes. So no, it's been a delight, and it wouldn't have been the same without having you, Nat. So I'm so glad that you came on those lives and sat on the real talk, and you know, it was just beautiful to have you on there. And I thought you were just so natural. I forget, you know, that everyone goes through humanly fears before things like that.
Yeah, I was internally dying. I was like, oh my God, hyperventilating. Like, okay, it's gonna be okay. Just go on there, Nat, you're fine. And then I'm like, oh, get the screen off me. But no, thank you. It's and Anna, sorry, I just have to mention this because tonight's ceremony, I know you haven't done a Zoom ceremony, cacao ceremony like you did tonight, but that was honestly one of the most beautiful things that I've ever taken part in. And I can feel the future for that kind of type of ceremony is just as impactful as it, you know, would be in person. It was absolutely gorgeous, and it really, like, even my heart afterwards, it's still open, and my light language come through, and I was like, oh my gosh, Anna, and I'm laying there wigging out. I was like, Anna, thank you. So it was, honestly, that was such a beautiful thing you did tonight, and you should be so proud.
Thanks, Nat. Nat went off. Just to give you guys a bit of a background, Alisha had to teach me how to use Zoom and do my first ever Zoom cacao ceremony tonight. And I was like, fingers shaking, trying to talk, trying to, you know, do all that. It's really hard, by the way, this Zoom thing. But I learned how to do it. I learned how to play music. I was really nervous, but I had the best group of people join the ceremony tonight, and Nat was amazing. She completely left and just spread love everywhere. So I have to thank Alisha for that. You know, like you were saying, Donovan, pushing you outside your comfort zone. She really did that for me tonight, and yeah, but it was a great experience.
You did amazing.
Welcome to the new normal online cacao ceremonies. It's a thing. It's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
Yeah, and it should be the new template. You know, everyone should have access to that. I think in conclusion, I'm a big advocate, and you know what? During this week, during World Unity Week, I actually got to, I don't even know how, but memories came back to me about my very first ever interview and the process that I went through, you know, all those years ago. And like, that was a massive thing for me. I just remember like running around like for days trying to prepare and get things organized, and oh my God, and amazing how you just take it for granted and just hit the live button and just, you know,
Nick's laughing.
right? But I think what I love the most and what I love to witness the most is that I see I have an amazing gift, and part of that gift is that I can see people's full potential. I can kind of read the soul and see what they're capable of. And sometimes I forget about their human component has like anxiety, fears, because I'm like, well, what do you mean? You just do it, you know? Because I know that once they just do it and you just step off the ledge or just get thrown in the deep end, that exhilaration of like, oh my God, I just flew. I just stretched.
Alisha has always lovingly given people a little kick out of the nest so that they can fly.
My favorite thing. It's my favorite pastime, because I know, and this is where it comes from for me, is that I can see people's potential. If I can get them to the point where they step into that for themselves, they're going to do something amazing. But then the ripple effect of the impact that they're going to have on shining their light, how many lights that's going to light up. And then the people that are going to be influenced positively by that, and then they're going to go on and do that. That's how we change the world. So, you know, when I get frustrated, it's because I want the best for everyone. And I'm like, just get out the goddamn nest and fly now.
So in essence, we change the world positively, one small kick at a time.
Yeah, that's how it's done. That's how it's done, people. But I think we're going to leave it there for now, because it's, you know, it's pushing on to getting closer to midnight here, and Nick's got to start his day, and
Yeah, I've got to be somewhere soon.
yeah. But just, you know, this is going to be the new normal. No?
Is that what you're going to call this one?
New
Round
normal.
table, the new normal.
It's going to be the beginning of something new that's going to come through. I don't know how that's going to look, but there's going to definitely be, you know, new inspiration, new collaboration, new earth vibes all the way to, you know, the cosmos and back. But anyway, I'm going to stop being cheesy. Thank you, everyone. Final thoughts, final words. I'll let you sort of close out, and we'll jump off. No, we're good.
You know what? I know things are never going to be the same, and we get to choose what happens next. You know what I mean? Like that's the key.
I was going to say, put your seatbelts on.
Sorry, Joe.
Oh, Abby.
No, I said I was just say buckle up your seatbelts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
100%.
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, just a massive thank you, everyone here, everyone who participated in World Unity Week, everyone who watched. Thank you, everyone. And I look forward to hearing how your life has changed and been impacted. So Mwah, much love, and we will see you all soon.
Yeah. See you guys.
Bye.